Hey everyone, this is Mick from the One Question series. This is a quick heads up. This interview with Dr. Yaffa Bey was recorded last week on June 8th, 2025. I had some technical delays getting it uploaded, but it actually worked out because I was able to include some more recent footage that adds to the conversation. So let's get into it. It's Sunday, June 8th, 2025. Dr. Yaffa Bey, I've been watching some of the recent protests slash riots, looks more like riots to me, in Los Angeles, California. How is it that some illegal immigrants from Latin America are able to attack law enforcement or damage property here in the United States of America without facing any serious consequences?
Well, technically, they should not be able to do that. They are not able to do that. However, one of the primary reasons that they are able to kind of get away with it is if you look specifically at Southern California, where everything is going to crap right now, illegal immigrants and children of illegal immigrants and a lot of the Latin American community is so thoroughly embedded in the Southern California governance. Most of the sheriff deputies are Latin. Most of the police are Latin. I don't know about now, but for the longest time, the elected sheriff was a Latin or Mexican. The city council is them, and that's for most of the cities in Southern California, including the small cities. They have allowed these people to do a soft invasion of the United States. People forget that in the 1800s, the United States bought these particular land masses from Mexico. They paid them for them. And these people are saying, this is our land. It was stolen. And I've had them tell me, back in the day, oh, we're coming in. We're taking our country back. We're making babies. We're coming in. We're making more and more babies. And they're going to look up one day, and this is going to be all us. And that's exactly what they're attempting to do. The problem is that so-called white people in the United States have focused so much of their attention and bile against melanin-rich people that they erroneously call Black and African American for so long. They were bent on making sure that we got nothing, we did nothing. So all of the affirmative action, equal employment opportunities, civil liberties, and et cetera that we fought for, rather than make them specifically for us, because as they began, it was the American Indian Civil Rights Act, and a lot of that stuff is still on the books, but they modified it to the Civil Rights Act, and then they made it about minorities as opposed to just the people that fought for it. They made it about all minorities, and then they started bringing in all these people from everywhere to get between us and what we fought for, and some of those people have helped overturn and flip what we have fought for. So the fact that these people do not look like us is one of the reasons why they're allowed to get away with what they're doing. Because if it was us, we'd have been shot by now. Also, a lot of these people from these other countries, they have their countries to stand behind them. So if you're from Venezuela, Guatemala, Mexico, China, Korea, what have you, if something happens to you here and something is done to you here, those governments, particularly those that have a lot of contractual commerce going on between them, such as Mexico, we get batteries from there, car parts from there, fruits and vegetables from there, a lot of things going on. Um, they would have to answer to those governments. When when things are done to us, they don't have to answer to anyone but us. They don't even have to answer to the melanin-rich politicians that look like us, such as the Congressional Black Caucus and the Maxine Waters. They don't work for us. They don't care about us. You don't see them fighting for us the way they are currently fighting for these people's right to soft invade the US. So what they've done is they've come in and they've run across, and that's why they're out there saying, this is our land. This is our country. We're taking it back. This is our land. It's like, okay, that is an invasion and an insurrection. And contrary to popular belief, whoever the president of the United States is at any given time, including the ones that people don't like, that president, one of their direct responsibilities is the dealing with the border control and immigration and illegal immigrants and aliens. That is the job of the president of the United States, no matter who that is at any given time. So people's like or dislike of whomever the president is at any given time, dealing with the security of the nation and invasion of the nation, whether it's a hard invasion or a soft invasion, which this is a soft invasion. Just because they didn't come in boots on the ground in military uniform, where it's obvious it's an invasion, it is an invasion. When people come out and they're waving their own flags from their own countries that they love so much, but won't go back to those countries because they say they're taking this one because this is their country, this is their land, and they're taking it back, that's an invasion. What they are saying is, you're going to give this back to Mexico because it belongs to Mexico, despite the fact that you bought it in the 1800s and you paid for it in the 1800s. And one of the agreements at that time was, for those particular areas that were bought from Mexico, everything in, because see, I might have either I misquoted or people misunderstood how I said it. Everything that was included in that purchase, all of those lands, the agreement was the language would always have to be in Spanish too. Everything would have to be done in Spanish also for the areas that were purchased from Mexico. So a lot of people don't comprehend law and they don't understand what's occurring here. I don't know everything there is to know, but I've come across a lot of this stuff over the years, way back when. But anybody, anyone, and they don't understand, they need to look into Title 8 of the United States Code under aliens and nationality. I've seen people saying, where's your warrant? Where's your warrant? In accordance with federal law, okay? Federal law. No warrant is required. When you're dealing with an immigrant that is illegal or suspected of being illegal, the agents can encounter the individual, they can question the individual, they can arrest the individual, and no warrant is required. That is federal law. It is codified in the United States Code, Title 8. Okay? They can question them, they can arrest them, and work it out later. They do not require a warrant. That is the law. And it is federally under the direct jurisdiction of the President of the United States. Anyone that harbors an illegal immigrant, especially an illegal criminal immigrant or alien, or houses them or interferes with what has to be done where they're concerned, the president has the direct authority to have that person arrested. It doesn't matter if they're a lawyer or a judge or a governor or a mayor. You do not have the authority to overstep the president's power to protect the country against hard invasion or soft invasion when anybody is trying to invade the country. And if it's an illegal immigrant or an illegal alien or someone that has come in undocumented, and border patrol, that is the job of the president. That is directly the job of the president. And no one has the authority to supersede the president's authority to deal with securing the border and removing or detaining illegal immigrants, or what they want to call undocumented. No country on this planet will allow you to do that. You and I cannot go to Korea or China or Europe and start waving around the US flag and burning the flag of China or Japan or Europe and making a bunch of noise and tearing up stuff. Can you get kicked out? Try to go to Mexico with that. If you go to Mexico with that kind of nonsense, if you and I went to Mexico and started waving around the US flag and burning the flag of Mexico, we would be thrown under a Mexican prison, underneath it. I don't know why everybody's not comprehending what is occurring. These people are so embedded in the Southern California infrastructure that they almost need to give California, though they purchased it, back, or at least Southern California, back to Mexico, unless people are going to allow the president to do what he's doing. Just like the Chinese students that had affirmative action overturned after our families and people fought so hard to get it. Oh, well, these black people don't deserve to have affirmative action. Some of our people were lynched and burned and whatnot for this. And you come in from some other country and you get our hard work tossed in the air and overturned as if it had something to do with you. Never mind the fact that you yourself were enrolled in school based on affirmative action, but perhaps you didn't comprehend or understand that fact. I think they understood it after they had it flipped and overturned. But it doesn't matter. They still had it overturned. And now the president is like, you know what? We're halting all Chinese visas, student visas, and a lot of you students that are from China, we are having issues with the Chinese Communist Party. That's another invasion. People don't comprehend that the United States is under, and it is the fault of the United States and the politicians, and particularly people that say that they're superior and whatnot, and this is their country and they stole it fair and square. When it's all said and done, you were so busy trying to suppress your one ally that you hate so much because of their skin color, the one ally that has always been here and never rose up in vengeance or revenge based on everything that was done to our people, that is still being done to our people. Everything that we do is about the benefit of this country. Everything we build and invent is about the benefit of this country. Every war that we enroll and enlist in to help fight, it was about the benefit of this country that hates the heck out of us. Even when we spend, because we spend a lot of funds, so do these people. But unlike all of the immigrants that come here, the United States has been in economic trouble for a while. Oh, our economy is in trouble. Our economy is in trouble. Our economy is in trouble. We need to do a stimulus check. I think the first time I ever heard of a stimulus check, Ronald Reagan might have been the president. It was either Reagan or Nixon. It was a stimulus check. But don't they comprehend that if you made sure that, because the United States is only as strong as its weakest link. If you made sure the melanin rich people of America were straight, the United States itself would be straight, because we spend all of our funds, everything we bring in, we spend it here. We spend, we spend, we spend. We get money, we want new cars, we want new clothes, we want new shoes, we want our hair done, we want our nails. We spend, 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 spend. While other people invest in the other people, I have to send my money back home to my country. We're not sending anything back home to our country. We're already in our country. So everything we spend is here. But they were so busy trying to destroy us as a people, they have soft destroyed the United States itself. They've allowed people to come from all over the world, from many other countries that hate this country. They can't stand it. They can't stand what it stands for. Some people like that they can make money, to send to their countries, and they can have what they consider a better life. But again, look at all the smoke they're giving the police out there, but I don't see them in their countries giving the same smoke to the cartels. I'm just saying. So if this country would look out for our people, who keep saying, where's our bag? You guys owe us. And, they do not owe us all for chattel slavery, but they do owe us all for all kinds of other things. Jim Crow, lynchings, the destructions of town after town after town, mass extermination, mass incarceration, redlining, blocking, and all kind of other things. Subdue us, which subdued themselves. They kept their eyes so focused on us that they dropped the ball and took their eyes off the prize and stopped watching everyone else. They've allowed so many enemies into this country by making an enemy, or perceiving as an enemy, their sole ally, that they didn't pay attention. They were watching us too hard. You watched us, but you didn't watch the creep of the Chinese Communist Party. And you didn't watch the creep of the Mexicans that want to take back what they think you stole, despite the fact that you bought it from them. And they're out here tearing things up, talking about this is our country. We want our country back. Waving their flag, burning this flag, stomping this flag, spitting on this flag, throwing rocks at officers, bricks at officers, We don't do that. And people say, oh, during the Black Lives Matter rebellion, they, whatever riots, they call it riots for us. And oh, it's a peaceful protest for them. There's nothing peaceful about this protest. I saw full blown riot, rebellion, insurrection. That's what I see. And even when during the so-called George Floyd uh, protests that our people were trying to keep peaceful, people fail to realize that other people's people, primarily pale complexion, wearing all black outfits, black umbrellas, and the whole thing, they would show up and they would start assaulting officers and throwing things at them. We don't do that unless we're assaulted. If we're accosted and people put their hands on us, then we defend. But these people out here kicking, stomping, spitting on and throwing things at these officers, and no one's doing anything to them, probably because their countries would intervene. If we were doing the same exact thing, we would have been shot. We did not throw things at the officers during the Rodney King uprising, which was a riot. Those were riots, but we didn't start the riots. We started peaceful protesting. Other people came in and started throwing things at officers. They were in front of us, and if the police admit it, they know for a fact that the people that were assaulting them were not our people. They may not tell it in the media, but they know it because they were standing there watching these people throw things at them, and it wasn't our people. We were behind those people. We know not to throw things at them because we know that they shoot us when we don't do anything. We could be face down, we could be handcuffed, we could be walking, we could be sitting, we could be running away and pop, 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 pop. So the president, whoever that may be at any given time, securing the border and protecting the United States from hard military or soft walk in, make a bunch of baby invasion, that is the direct responsibility and authority and job of the president of the United States. And anyone, whether they're cops, city council, mayors, governors, or people that get in the way of the president doing their job, and especially when you're at and around and about federal buildings and federal property, that is the authority and jurisdiction, direct jurisdiction of the president. No one has the authority to step over the president's authority to deal with an insurrection, an invasion, illegal aliens, immigrants, migrants, or whatever you want to call it. Securing the border and the populace here is the president's job. That's a federal question. And if anybody does not know that, learn the law. Go and look up and read Title 8 of the United States Code, which is all about aliens and nationality. Everything that these people are doing to defend them is in violation of federal law, which puts you in direct scope of the president of the United States. And it depends on the president how he wants to deal with you, whoever that president may be, whether you like the president and it's one of your favorite people, or you don't like the president and it's someone hated. This is the president's job, and everybody better get out of the way of this one. And my people, stay up out this business, stay up out this mess. Because one thing we are not about to do, and one thing we do not need to do, particularly for people that hate us with a passion anyway, and I'm not going to say all and every, because I know some that are cool. We all know some that are cool, but we are very hated and despised by those people. They almost hate us more than white folks, for real. So when it's all said and done, stay up out of this business because we are not getting ready to put ourselves on the scope of the feds. No, we're not. No, we're not. But let me just close out with this. One of the reasons this is going down, and a lot of people are not aware of why this is going down. Whenever the feds were trying to come, and Holman and them would notify, people that, hey, ICE is coming through. We want to come pick some people up from jail or whatnot, what have you. Because these people are interwoven into the fabric of Southern California, they would always notify the jails and the system and the people that ICE is coming, and ICE couldn't catch anybody. They would always be gone, and they would be out in the streets with bullhorns and ICE is coming, ICE is coming, and everybody would scatter because they're embedded so they protect their own. That's why the police in California treat us so badly, because they are not us and they don't like us and probably never have. But when it's all said and done, um, they would always warn people, law enforcement and the city councils and the mayors and the governors and whatnot, that ICE is coming, which puts them in the way of the feds and the president of the United States, who can have all of them arrested. And the way that they've been behaving, if he wanted to round up every single individual out there, which they would do with us, either they'd be shooting us or rounding us up in paddy wagons, they could round them all up and start deporting all of them, okay? Or throwing them in these hard prisons wherever else they're going. Because what you're dealing with is either illegal immigrants or children of illegal immigrants. The legal immigrants that have gone through this whole process, in all fairness to them, this is not fair to them. They went through all this process, spent all this time and all this money, and went back and forth for years to do it the right way. A lot of them came here running from the very people that we're dealing with right now. It's like, I left my country to get away from these kind of people. And now they're here making things bad for us that came here legally. So when the fact is, these people did not know this time that ICE was coming and that the feds were coming. So when they showed up, because they got smart, it's like, okay, we got people working against us in government governance. So they just slipped in and were able to start gathering a bunch of people up. So everybody got mad because they didn't get their warning this time, so they could notify their people, hey, ICE is here, warn everybody. They didn't get the warning. So now they out there pissed off, angry, and hitting the streets. Well, that's a problem, that governance at local, city, county, local, state levels are interfering with federal government, who is the job of the president to federally protect the borders and the people here, and to deal with immigrants, aliens, whether legal or illegal. That is a federal question. That is no other question. And I just wanted you guys to know that. My people, stand down, stay out. Don't stand for anybody that doesn't stand for us. We could have been a unified body and color, but they're black and brown, black and brown. We were always told, nah, we ain't you blacks. We better in our race. Okay, well, you know, y'all lazy, y'all don't want to work, so we're gonna be lazy and we're gonna sit this one out. Since y'all say we're lazy, our name is Bennett and we're not in it. Do not get in the way of the feds. On that note, Harambe.